Good morning, Joel here. Excuse me. Um, Welcome back. Today's one is to talk or touch on the subject real quick about the difference between an addiction and a physical dependency to a benzodiazepine. Um, if the video's moving a little bit, I apologize. Got kind of a shaky hand. I've had that for a long time. It just got a little bit worse with benzo taper. Um, if you've been prescribed something like Xanax or Clonopin or Valium or Ativan, um, things like that, those are the most popular ones, I think, here in the States. And you've been on this medication constantly for more than like a month. Um, Even at low dosages, you can develop a physical or chemical dependency. Benzodiazepine, what it is considered a minor tranquilizer that affects your GABA in your brain and body. And GABA, I can't, it's an acronym. I can't even pronounce the word. Is basically what calms your body down, right? Whenever you're anxious, your your fight or flight system in your body activates. You know, Back in the old days, anxiety was a good thing. Whenever you had a beast or something behind you, you had an animal chasing you. You needed that adrenaline to get away. You ever see people lifting up a car or something in emergency situations? They've got adrenaline running through their blood. Their fight or flight is in full effect. Now, for people with anxiety or panic or whatever, social anxiety, things like that, generalized anxiety, phobias and all that, sometimes your fight or flight system can't distinguish the difference between a dangerous situation and a not so dangerous one. For me personally, social settings set off my panic. They push my panic button, basically. And that's what led me to, seeking help from a doctor and getting a medication to help with that. Now, I was prescribed Xanax, Alprazolam, at low dosage. At low doses, sorry, still early. Low doses. Um, Back in 2017. Now, I wasn't the type to abuse medication. I was taking as prescribed, even taking less than prescribed. But with the amount of time between then and now, my body has a chemical dependency to benzodiazepines. It's no longer alprazolam, it's clonazepam now, Clonopin, which was prescribed probably in the second half of, my usage of benzodiazepines to combat anxiety. That was probably late 2018, around there. I'm not too sure of the timeline. It's around there. But if anybody, you know, is given these medications and you take them, yeah, they make you feel calm. They calm you down. You feel good. You're able to go out and do things. You think it's a godsend, at that time, or maybe you have anxiety for taking flights. You take a pill and then, you feel better. And what is reassuring in that moment is that you got it from a doctor, so you don't feel like you're doing anything wrong. But like I mentioned before, you get physically dependent to this medication. That does not make you an addict. You know, there's a lot of forums, there's a lot of recovery groups, there's a lot of people who are going through the same thing that I'm going through. And I don't know how many people have said they've been labeled addicts. You know, it's not fair and it's not correct. You're not an addict. Your body is physically dependent on your medication. Now a lot of doctors won't recognize that. They won't acknowledge that dependency exists. They'll tell you you need to continue taking the medication, or they'll up your dose. How many times did I go back to the doctor and say, "Look, this is not working anymore. Yeah, my anxiety's starting to come back." Looking back, now that I know, it was my body reacting to the higher levels of GABA in my body. My body was trying to balance itself, so it would increase my fight or flight system to combat the increase of, that calming system, the GABA. And that's what was going on for a couple of years. So as you can imagine, the dependency is pretty strong. But, I'm here to tell you that it's as bad as it sounds, as scary as it feels, because it does feel scary. I'll tell you, whenever I attempted to cold turkey, in January, I experienced something that I never experienced in my life, and it was a nightmare. I'll be honest. It was something that I thought, what the hell is going on in my body? I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I was waking up wanting to throw up every morning. Sometimes even during the day. I lost a lot of weight. I used to weigh. I used to go to the gym like, I don't know, twice a week, maybe 3 times a week sometimes. I had a stretch where I would go a lot, and then a stretch where I would stop going. But I used to weigh around 215, but I had, really, really big stomach, a big gut. But other than that, I felt relatively healthy. But between January and February, I dropped down to about 185 pounds. I was urinating a lot, a lot more than normal. I read somewhere that's because the heightened levels of adrenaline in your body. I couldn't sleep well at all. I try to sleep, I get like zapped awake. Um, Memory is horrible. Still is bad. My memory is still pretty bad. Um, but since I started tapering, it's very important that you find the way to get a taper schedule, make one yourself, and taper your medication. You cannot just jump off of it. You will get very sick. And I got very sick. I was very sick for at least a month or a month and a half. Very, very sick. Now I went to another doctor, got some blood work done, made sure nothing, was wrong, with my body. Of course, all the blood tests are fine. I mean, a little bit of cholesterol or, normal stuff, And I would mention to a doctor, hey, it's a different doctor at a whole different clinic. I mentioned, look, I was taking this medication, Clonopin, and I reduced the dosage, and this is what's happening. And he actively avoided it. He's like, oh, I don't, you're going to have to speak to a psychologist or a psychiatrist regarding that medication. I said, no, I'm not asking you to prescribe it. I'm asking you to to let me know, is this normal? And he said, well, that's something you're gonna have to ask your psychiatrist. This man is a medical doctor, actively avoiding that question. And why is that? It's because they either know or they actively refuse to know. If they know, they don't want to out somebody else. They don't want to tell you, oh, it's benzo withdrawal, or your body is dependent on the medication. They would rather put it off or straight up lie to you. And that can be very upsetting to somebody looking for help. But I'm here to tell you that you can do it. If you find yourself in this situation, quote unquote, addicted to benzodiazepines, like what a doctor will tell you, like what a doctor told me, and I'll cover that in another video. You're not an addict. You're not popping 10, 15 pills a day. You probably just want to get off, and that makes you just chemically dependent on it. Your body was changed by this medication. You had some changes in your brain, and if you took them for a long time, those changes, to undo those changes, it takes a little while. That's just the way it is. But it's possible. You can get off with a proper taper plan, proper medication. You can get off. There's help. So, I encourage you to look online. Try not to panic too much. Try to understand that this happens. This is happening to a lot of people. Me included. So, I encourage you guys to pray on it. Me, I'm a Christian man. I try to maintain my relationship with God. And that's one thing. Whenever I was down and out, I didn't know how much time I had, to be honest. God pulled me out of that. I got on my knees and I prayed to God, and I asked him, I said, God, I don't know what to do, and I can't do this on my own. Take me by my hand and lead me out of this darkness. Now here I am, 4 months later. I'm still here, but I have a plan. And I thank God for that. And I have a support system. And that's very important. So I encourage you guys to take care of yourselves. If you're going through it, it's a tough time. It's hard, but it's very possible, and believe in yourself that you can get out of it. Until next time, guys. See you soon.